I'm ready. I'm getting nervous. Whew. The anxiety is kicking in for sure. I think I'm ready. Yo, yo, yo. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Styles After Dark. What's up, my little stylers? Honestly, I feel like I'm fucking with it. I feel like I'm fucking with the stylers. Like, hello. What do you guys think? Like, I feel like we need to come up with a name. I feel like I need to run a poll on Instagram. All right, guys, you already know Styles After Dark getting motherfucking deeper, okay? We are getting deeper. We are being our most authentic selves. We are sharing our experiences. And today we are going to be diving deep. I'm going to be opening up about something that I have been so nervous to talk about in general. I feel like I am super open with, my life, especially if, you guys follow me on TikTok. You guys must see how open I can be on there, just sharing my life. Before we dive in, actually, I always don't know when I'm with myself. I never know, okay, when should the wine start? So let's start off. I'm going to shout out my client's mom, Ari Murillo. Kisses. The reason I got this wine was because my friend's mom, and I wanted to get her mom a birthday gift because she was inviting me to her mom's little birthday dinner with their family, and she's Mexican too, so you already know we was about to get down. And I also do her mom's hair. It was a whole little surprise party, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is your mom like? And she was like, my mom loves anything plants, wine. And so I was like, what's her favorite wine? And I remember her favorite wine was Josh Pinot Noir. And I believe I got this for her. I now am a wine girly, so I really wanted to try this. So now we get to try it, and I want to see what this is all about and why it was one of her favorite wines. So we're going to do a little pour in the glass. Y'all already know. And I think I'm going to pour this just a little bit halfway through. Lick the wine glass a little bit. I feel like my past couple episodes, I was low-key getting lit. And I feel like it was because I was pouring the glass so fucking full. For what? Bitch, for what? Yeah, I think that was a little unrealistic. Because really you should only be filling your wine glass to not even halfway full. And it looks more elegant. We're more classy, okay? A nosotros le gustamos a tener un poquito wine. You guys, my Spanish is breaking. Let's see what this wine's about. Either I'm becoming a wine girly, or this wine is bomb as fuck. All of a sudden, the bitterness isn't so bitter. Bitch, hold up. Am I actually becoming a fucking wine girly right now? Hold the fuck up. Hold up. Oh my God, I think I am. Well, Sophia would totally think this is just way too bitter, but we're growing. You guys, we're growing. Let's hop into today's episode. Today, I'm really going to be opening up, you guys, and I'm really excited to get vulnerable. I actually feel I don't want to say this should have been my first episode, but I definitely feel like I put off and held off on talking about this. I am still struggling to care what people think, and it's getting better. There's levels to it. I don't necessarily actually give a shit what anyone thinks for certain things, but when it comes to talking about my experiences that might involve someone else, that's where I get a little timid, I guess, because I don't want to step on any toes. I'm gonna be opening up a little bit about my past relationship. If you know me, you know. If you don't, you're going to get to know. I know where this is going to go, but I also just really want to be transparent about everything and not really hold back. And of course, there's a message behind this. I don't know what the message is yet because there's so many messages around this. I got the courage to finally open up about this today is because of my friend and my best friend of 15 years, Olivia Leone. I have like a solid like 4 best friends, and Olivia was like basically my first best friend that I ever made when I was a little kid. Shout out to Olivia. We have such meaningful conversations, and we were just talking, and we were talking about how much I've grown, and you know, I do TikTok and I started my own podcast, and I've grown so much emotionally and mentally, and just really my healing journey has been so cool. And it's so amazing to look back at where I was when this year started and where I am now. And she asked me, you know, do you think you would have accomplished what you have accomplished in the past year if you were still in your past relationship? And I told her no. And I was like, no, I don't think I would have. And I feel like it was because there was many reasons why I wouldn't have, but I also feel like I wouldn't have had the confidence to do the things I do now. And I feel like with that confidence came after, you know, the breakup. She really inspired me and pushed me to talk about it. I'm not saying that in the sense like she told me to do this and that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing this to help other people in hopes to share knowledge, to share my experience, and hoping that someone else can just really relate to it. And also because it's beautiful. It's something we all have been through, if not at one point will go through, or maybe never go through, but you know, like it's very common. My past relationship was a 6-year long on and off relationship. It was a toxic relationship. It wasn't the healthiest. You know, you have your good times, you have your bad times. It's really hard, in my opinion, to grow into something like that and to become your best version of yourself when you're in something like that. When something isn't serving you anymore, it's not going to allow you to really bring in what is serving you. The reason I got so nervous about this was because I felt like if I talked about my past relationship and, you know, shared this or brought up my experience with it, I felt like I would get a lot of backlash. Maybe people thinking I'm not over it, or maybe people thinking like all I want to do is talk about my ex, or all I want to do is talk about my past relationship, and that's not fair. And the reason is because it was such a big part of my life, and I'm sick of this stigma. There's this stigma that like we shouldn't talk about our exes, or you know, we need to stop. And I do believe in that. I do believe there is a period after a breakup where you shouldn't talk so much about your ex, and it doesn't help in your healing process. And I do think that it's not good too. But there comes a point, you know, where you've healed and you've gotten to a point of acceptance and forgiveness, and it's okay to talk about it, especially when someone was in your life for so long. This person was in my life for 6 years. I met this person when I was 16, I believe, 16 to 22. I went through so much with that person. I experienced a lot with that person. For that reason, you know, it's kind of silly to sit here and like act like I should act like it never happened. And that relationship brought me where I am today. That relationship brought me to this Sophia. That relationship and that experience and the lessons learned and the mistakes made that I learned from made Sophia, made who I am now, the strong Sophia with the confidence and the self-love. And, you know, we all have people and experiences and that shape us who we are and also help us grow into who we're supposed to be, whether it was a bad experience or a good experience. And for that, I am so thankful for that person. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of times because that person was played such a big part of my growth and who the person I am today. One of the last reasons and one of the things I want to say on why I was so nervous to talk about this is because the way it ended wasn't the healthiest either. The way it ended wasn't the best. Sometimes things end bad because that's the only way it can end. And when it ended, and especially the way it ended, I don't want to go too much into detail because that is also that other person's business. I just want to say that I wish, that person nothing but love. I wish nothing but happiness for that person because it was a unhealthy relationship. I think that I know that there was a lot of things that I did in that relationship that weren't the best. To forgive myself for being someone I wasn't proud of, especially when I started this, because it was like, I feel like I've grown as a person. I feel like I've become this new version of myself. I felt embarrassed to, I guess, be this new version of myself, even though this is the new me and I know I'm so much better and I've worked on those things in therapy and I've worked on myself. I guess I just felt guilty for being happy. I felt like I couldn't talk about it because of that past version of myself. I was struggling to forgive myself and let that go, let the past go. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone's going to forgive you. Not everyone's going to think you're the best person. And that's just life. And for the longest time, I didn't understand why it had to end that way. I had a great support system. At the time, it just felt like, why is this happening to me? But I am where I am now, and it was a journey, and it was hard, and it was painful, and it was sad, and it sucked, and it felt like my life was over. If you would have told me back in January that I would be standing here in front of this fucking camera, I would not believe you, because that's how fucking low you feel. That's how much your world is ending and crashing, and you feel like the person that you've built all this time with, this person that you've been with for so long, and this person that you shared these meaningful experiences with. I went through it, and if you are going through something similar, it's not a bad thing. I actually saw this TikTok one time, and I think it was on a podcast, but I actually think it was just a TikTok video. And this guy was like, I'm so sick and tired of people saying, I'm so sorry that you're going through this when someone's going through a breakup. He was like, if anything, we should start saying congratulations. And I thought that was so epic. I literally was like, holy shit, bro. When I saw that TikTok, I was like, that's so true. And he kind of just said how, why are we saying, I'm so sorry you're going through this? Like, that's the first thing we say, because if anything, it's something to celebrate. It's a celebration. Like, congrats. You're about to start a journey of healing and a journey of a new chapter in your life and a journey of like finding yourself and, rebranding yourself, rediscovering yourself, finding out who you are. And I think that happens every time we go through a breakup. Like, you always end up 10 times better on the other side. And I feel like that's, now that I've gotten that off my chest, and now that I've let you guys know a little bit about that. I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, it was just funny because I was like, it's kind of giving like Justin Bieber Seasons. Like, like when he came out with that like YouTube series called Seasons, after like him and Hailey Bieber got married and like Selena yeah, okay, you guys get it. Anyways, I think a big part of finding out who you are is forgiving yourself and forgiving others, because in order to reach your highest potential, your highest self, your best version of yourself, you're going to have to forgive yourself for the things you've done in the past, for the things you've done to people. I found God. And whether you're spiritual, whether you believe in a higher power, it doesn't matter. All are accepted here. For me, it was my faith in God, and it was God who brought me through this. I couldn't see what was longing for me, or what kept me going was the faith. Because when you're in that low point in your life where you don't see your potential, where you don't have the confidence, how are you supposed to get there? Like, what is gonna pull you there? Felt like I needed something, and it was my faith. It was God. It was praying. It was surrounding myself with good people. It was changing my mindset. You have to change your mindset. You have to change the words you're using. You have to study positivity. You have to study affirmations. You have to study self-love. You have to study improvement. You have to study confidence, because if you don't have those things and you base your life off of negativity, and you base your life of bashing yourself, talking low of yourself, talking low of others, how are you going to be the person you want to be? How are you going to be happy you if you don't practice happy things, if you don't practice all the good stuff? You have to teach yourself. It's like learning a new sport. So think of it in that way. If you have a version of yourself, you want to become this, you're going to have to do the things, the requirements to be that. So in order to become good at soccer, right? Let's do a little analogy. I don't know if that's an analogy. Fuck off. But we're going to call it an analogy. Let's say you want to become the best person at soccer. You're going to have to practice every day. You're going to have to learn how to play soccer. And you're going to probably have to watch videos. You're probably going to have to search up like Ronaldo, you know? You're going to look up Ronaldo on fucking YouTube and be like, what's he doing that I don't know how to do? Because I want to be like him. He's the best of the best. So you're going to go look at his videos and study him. Same shit with learning who the fuck you are. You need to go out there and you need to start. We have so much advantage, especially in today's day. Like, we have phones, we have Google, we have TikTok, we have people sharing their life, their experiences, their knowledge. You have life coaches making TikTok videos on how to build a more positive mindset. You have podcasts to listen to. Jay Shetty, Call Her Daddy, Joe Rogan, sharing life experiences and having people who have started from the bottom and have been able to get to a place in their life where they know who they are in a way better mindset, living a happier life, living a more positive life. So take advantage of it. And it's not easy. And I feel like that's why so much of us give up. A lot of things in life require repetition. No one else can change you. No one else can tell you who you are. No one else can tell you what you like and what you want to do with your life. And no one else can change your life. You have to be ready to put in the work. You have to be ready to forgive yourself and forgive what anyone else has done to you that hurt you. And it's going to take time, and it's not going to happen overnight. For me, it was a long, hard process. Some of the things that you can do to start forgiving yourself is it's all shifting the mindset. It's all about how you talk to yourself. When you have a negative thought, changing it to a positive thought. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I said that. Let's change that with, I'm working on being better. I was coming from a place of not knowing better. Now that I know better, I can do better. But do better and work on being better. So when you change that negative sentence with a positive sentence, you can slowly but surely actually become this new version of yourself who's forgiving themselves. That's what I have to say on that. And when it comes to forgiving other people is letting anger go. You are allowed to have boundaries, and you are allowed to put up those boundaries. You might not have control over what someone does to you. You might not have control over how often you see someone who has hurt you, but you do have control over how it affects you, and you have control over how you let it affect you. And that is one of the biggest things I learned, was stop letting everything control you. And I was huge on controlling every situation, controlling how people viewed me. I had to learn how to start controlling how I let things affect me. You are in control of your life. You have one life. Be who you want to be and do what you want to do. And because I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted, I looked at what other people wanted. I looked at how other people were living their lives, how other people's relationships were, how other people made their decisions, how other people like to handle things, how other people dealt with their emotions, how other people communicated. And I would always ask for other people's advice and how they did things. I used to be a person that, even in my past relationship, like always went to my friends for advice, and I would like tell them, well, what do you do with your boyfriend? How would you handle this with that person? Like, what did you do in that situation? Instead of just asking myself, what kind of relationship do I want? Like, yeah, like my best friend has that relationship with her boyfriend, but like, is that what I want in my relationship? Is that what I want for my life? And then same with interest and hobbies. Like a lot of people like to go out. There's a lot of home buddies. There's a lot of people who, I was just talking about this with one of my clients today. We were talking about how like, you know, a lot of my friends like have these boundaries in their relationships. And there's people who are in relationships who don't want the other person to go out to the clubs without their significant other, and there's people who trust each other a lot and like, you go to the club without me, that is fine. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think it's like how you want to live your life and who you want to be. You can be in a relationship and still not know who the fuck you are. You can be in a relationship and not know what the fuck you want. And so what did I do? I dated people. I went on hella fucking dates. I put it all over TikTok, and I was dating and I was seeing what I liked and I didn't like. And my little heart got broken over a little situationship that lasted a week. And I liked a guy for 2 months and that didn't work out. And I went on a date with this guy and he gave me the ick about this. And I went on a date with that guy and I really liked that. And then I went on a date with this guy and I was like, oh yes. And then I got to a point where none of it worked out. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. And I'm going to be by myself. And I always heard people say, like, when you spend time with yourself, you can really figure out who you are and what you like and what you don't like. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to figure out what I like, what I don't like if I'm by myself? Let me tell you, for the past 2 months, that's exactly what I did. I was at home. I stopped going out so much. I stopped fucking filling up my schedule with all these people. And I just stayed at home because I just hit a point where I was like, all right, like, I'm kind of sick of this. I'm tired of going out all the time. I'm tired of dating. I just want to be alone. It was a constant thing that people were telling me. It was like, oh, like, you know, it's good to be alone. And when you're alone, you're going to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And I was like, why is everyone saying this? And finally I was like, okay, maybe I should listen to them. And when I did that, holy shit, you guys. And this is where me and my friend were talking, like, when you're alone and when you stop distracting yourself, you just, all the chaos stops. Think about your experiences and your lessons, and you're no longer filling your time up. You really start to think, like, what do I like? Like, okay. And you start spending time with yourself and you start doing things and you start, like, I don't know, like, I started watching TV and staying at home and testing it out. Do I like staying at home? And I'm not saying doing it for 3 days and then being like, okay, yeah, no, I don't like staying at home. No, it's trial and error, okay, y'all? So you're gonna, like, do it for a month, okay? Like, try it out. It's kind of like skincare, right? You can't just, like, try a fucking skincare product for 2 weeks and then be like, okay, it didn't work because it didn't work in the 2 weeks. No, it takes 6 weeks for a skincare product for your skin to get used to. Stay at home for 6 weeks and try it out and see if you like it. You might surprise yourself. You might be like, oh shit, like, I'm a homebody. And so that's when I realized I knew it all along. And the biggest thing that I also battled with was trusting myself. All of these things connect, and they're all a part of the journey of finding who you are. I knew what I wanted was balance, but I didn't trust myself. I liked going out, but I also liked staying at home. But I was so confused because I would ask my friends, well, what do you and your boyfriend do? Like, do you like going out? Like, no, like, me and my boyfriend just stay at home. And then I'd be like, well, then me and my boyfriend should stay at home. That's what I want. And I would convince myself that that's what I want. And now, but also, like, I knew deep down that there was always this voice that I knew I didn't. And I know now that because of spending time alone and figuring out who I am and fucking crying and healing and feeling alone and going through changing the mindset and talking positive to myself and going on dates and trying different people and different personalities and, you know, having these experiences and then being by myself showed me what I want, what I like, who I am. I was able to find out Sophia likes a balance. I'm not a homebody, but I'm also not the most social person. I don't want to be out every weekend and fucking go out all the time, but I also don't want to be at home all the time. And I think for a long time, I was just kind of figuring it out. Now I have these boundaries, and that's another thing is, like, boundaries, like knowing yourself and listening to the voice in your head, listening to your body and understanding if something doesn't sit well with you, If you don't like something, you don't have to. And that's okay. And it's okay to have these boundaries. Yeah. When I start getting quiet, I feel like that's when I've said everything. You know, this podcast is going to be forever. I plan on doing this for a long time. So I'm sure there's going to be more that we have go in depth with. And if I miss anything, I think I'm going to start doing like a little like poll, or maybe there's like a website where you guys can like anonymously answer questions, and then maybe like I'll make like little podcast episodes where I answer you guys' questions if I missed something or didn't go in depth about something, because you know, I get carried away or maybe I miss something. Check out my Instagram. My Instagram is @StylesAfterDark. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Thank you so much for supporting me. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to follow Styles After Dark. To wrap things up, I just want to say finding out who you are is a journey. And again, no one can start that journey but you. And sometimes starting this journey is letting go of people, letting go of certain habits, letting go of certain things to really start that journey. I'm wishing you luck, and I'm giving you that little push. And I hope this episode gives you the push to start that today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. I am so happy that I was able to really open up and be vulnerable. I feel like this episode was the start to really starting to do whatever the fuck I want and really being open about it all. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening as always, and cheers, my loves, to infinity and beyond. See you guys next week.